Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're bringing you 3 rare pennies that could be sitting in your pocket right now. You might even be using them every day without realizing their true value. But these coins have sold at incredibly high prices at auctions because of certain minting errors that make them rare. In this video, we'll show you those minting errors and reveal their prices. So, without wasting any time, let's start the video. This penny sold for $157,000 in a private sale that lasted exactly 11 minutes. Not because it was old, not because it was silver, but because the US Mint tried to melt every single one of them down. That's right. The government of the United States wanted this coin dead, destroyed, forgotten, and yet, a handful survived. How? Why? And what made the 1997 penny so dangerous to the mint that they ordered an internal investigation? This is not a story about a simple mistake. This is a story about a cover-up, a secret that stayed hidden for over a decade, and a coin that should never have left the building, the secret history. The year is 1997. The US Mint is under new management. Quality control has been tightened after several public embarrassments in the early 90s. They are bragging about their new high-speed inspection cameras. And then it happened. A die used for the reverse of the Lincoln Memorial cent developed a massive crack. Not a hairline, a canyon. The crack ran from the top of the memorial steps all the way down through the word America. Under normal procedure, that die should have been pulled and destroyed immediately. But it was late on a Friday. The press operator was rushing to finish his shift. He kept striking coins. For 45 minutes, over 3,000 pennies were staped with a broken die. And then Monday morning came. The shift supervisor saw the coins. His face went pale. He ordered every single one of them thrown into the scrap bin for melting. Not released, not inspected, destroyed. But someone in the chain disobeyed. A small handful of coins, maybe 20, maybe 30, were slipped out of the mint in a worker's lunch bag. And for 6 years, nobody spoke about it. The mint mark anomaly. Now, here is the detail that turns this into a conspiracy. The 1997 penny has no mint mark for Philadelphia. That is normal. But the cracked die error coins all have a tiny, almost invisible anomaly near the rim. A raised line that looks like a stray hair. That line was later proven to be an identifying marker from the specific press used that Friday night. That means the coins that survived can be traced back to a single machine, a single shift, and a single operator. And when the mint found out that some had escaped destruction, they sent out a quiet memo to major coin dealers. Not a public recall, a quiet warning. Any 1997 pennies showing unusual reverse cracks should be reported. Collectors smelled blood in the water. The collector frenzy. In 2003, the first 1997 cracked die penny appeared at a Long Beach coin show. The dealer who saw it bought it for $200. Within a month, he sold it for $4,000. 2 years later, a second example graded MS-66 sold for $22,000. And then a third example emerged. This one was different. The crack was more severe. The steps of the Lincoln Memorial looked split in half. The metal had actually displaced, creating a raised ridge you could feel with your fingernail. That coin sold for $51,000. But the real nightmare was just beginning. The minting errors. The ladder of horror. Let's walk through the errors that make the 1997 penny a legend. Each one is stranger than the last. First error, the strike-through. A piece of debris, dust, wire, cloth, falls between the die and the planche. The coin strikes over it, embedding the object into the surface. Strike-throughs on 1997 pennies sell for $30 to $100. Common, but visually weird. Second error, the cud. This happens when a piece of the die edge breaks off. The missing area creates a raised blob on the coin that looks like a tumor. A cud error on the reverse of a 1997 penny can sell for $300 to $900 because it's large and ugly. Third error, the die adjustment strike. Sometimes the press isn't set to full force. The coin is struck too weakly. The design looks shallow, ghostly, almost incomplete. Adjustment strikes from 1997 have sold for $1,500 to $4,000. They're rare because weak strikes were usually caught and remelted. Fourth error: the rotated die. The obverse and reverse are misaligned in rotation. U and reverse are misaligned in rotation. You hold the coin upright, turn it over, and the top of the reverse is tilted 15, 30, even 90 degrees. A 1997 penny with a 45-degree rotation sold for $7,200. A 90-degree rotation sold for $18,000. The visual effect is deeply unsettling. Fifth error: the massive die crack, the 1997 mint escape. This is the one that haunts collectors. The crack runs through the entire reverse. In high grade, the coin looks like was hit by a tiny earthquake. In MS-66, one sold for $78,000. In MS-67, the number jumped to $120,000. And then came the rumor, the final reveal. If you have ever wondered whether the government knows more about rare coins than they admit, this is the moment that will keep you awake. In 2021, a sealed mint set from 1997 was opened on a live stream. Inside, one penny had no crack. It looked normal. But under magnification, the edge of the coin showed tiny split in the copper plating, a split that exposed the zinc core in a shape that matched the cracked die exactly. That meant the crack had started to form before the coin was struck, not after. Pre-existing die damage that was invisible to the naked eye. The coin was graded MS-68 red, only one grade below perfect. Private collector from Europe offered $140,000. A bidding war erupted. 11 minutes later, the final offer was accepted, $157,000. And here is the part the mint still won't confirm. The operator who allowed those coins to escape in 1997 was never identified. No one was fired. No investigation was published. The internal report, if it ever existed, has never been released. That means somewhere, in a box, in an attic, in a roll of pennies that hasn't been opened since the 1990s, there could be another MS-68, and the person who finds it won't just find a coin. They'll find a secret the United States Mint tried to bury forever. 3 pennies, 3 errors, over $500,000 combined. And every single one of them started in someone's pocket change. The question isn't whether rare coins still exist out there. The question is, what have you already spent without knowing? This coin sold for $170,000 at a private auction where 2 billionaires tried to outbid each other over the phone. But here is the terrifying part. The US Mint swore this coin never existed. They issued a statement. They denied production errors. They said, and I quote, "No such variety was ever authorized or intended." And yet, the coin kept showing up, in pocket change, in bankrolls, in an old man's shoebox under his bed. So what happened? Did the mint lie? Did someone inside sneak something out? The answer involves a late-night press malfunction, a forgotten die, and one of the strangest cover-ups in modern numismatic history. And the worst part? You might have already spent one without ever knowing. The strange backstory. Let's go back to 1994. The economy was booming. The internet was just waking up. Grunge music was everywhere. And the US Mint was producing pennies like factory machines on caffeine. Over 10 billion pennies in 1994 alone. 10 billion. Nobody was looking for errors. Why would they? The minting process had been automated for decades. Computers inspected every coin. Human error was supposed to be a thing of the past. But machines fail. And in 1994, at the Philadelphia Mint, something went terribly wrong. A die used to strike the obverse, Lincoln's face, developed a flaw so subtle that the automated sensors missed it completely. But it wasn't a crack. It wasn't a chip. It was a doubling that only appeared on the date. The numbers 1994 looked slightly thicker on one side, almost like a shadow. But if you turned the coin under a light at exactly the right angle, the numbers appeared twice. The mint mark secret. Now pay attention, because this is where the story becomes a thriller. The 1994 penny has no mint mark if it came from Philadelphia. That is normal. But the coins with the double date were only found in Philadelphia rolls, not Denver, not San Francisco. That means the error die never left the main mint. Someone caught it, someone pulled it, but not before an unknown number of coins had already been struck and released into the system. The mint never admitted how many. They never recalled them. They just let them go. For 8 years, nobody noticed. Then a collector in Michigan found a 1994 penny in his change from a gas station. The date looked blurry. He almost threw it away, but he kept it. 3 years later, he showed it to a dealer. The dealer's exact words, "Where did you get this?" The collector panic. Once word leaked online in the early 2000s, the coin forums exploded. People started searching through bags of pennies like treasure hunters digging for gold. Bank tellers reported customers asking for every 1994 penny they had, and then the first certified example sold for $8,000. Then $15,000. Then $40,000. But here is where things take a truly strange turn. A second variety emerged. Even rarer. Even more dramatic. The 1994 double die obverse with extra thickness on Lincoln's eye and jawline. It looked like the portrait had been hit twice by the same hammer. That coin, in MS-66 condition, was listed at $95,000, and then the big one arrived. The minting errors, value ladder. Before we get to the monster price, let's build the ladder, because understanding the errors will make the final number feel like a punch to the chest. First error, the grease strike. This happens when lubricating oil or metal dust fills the recesses of the die. The result is a coin with missing details. Lincoln's hair might vanish. The word Liberty might look erased. A grease-struck 1994 penny can bring $15 to $40. Common, but fun. Second error, the clip planche. A blank coin sheet gets fed incorrectly, and the punch cuts a crescent-shaped chunk out of the edge. It looks like a bite was taken out of the coin. Clip errors from 1994 sell for $75 to $200. More dramatic examples go higher. Third error, the die chip. A tiny piece of the die breaks off and leaves a raised blob on the coin. On the 1994 penny, die chips near the date or the memorial steps can sell for $250 to $700 because they're easy to see and verify. Fourth error, the misaligned die. The obverse and reverse dies don't line up perfectly. One side looks tilted compared to the other. Severe misalignments on 1994 pennies have sold for $1,200 to $3,500. The visual effect is unsettling, like the coin is warped. Fifth error, the double die obverse, strong variety. This is the apex predator. The doubling is aggressive, especially on the date and Lincoln's profile. In MS-64, it sells for $12,000. In MS-65, $28,000. In MS-66, the bidding starts at $60,000, but MS-67, that doesn't exist. Or so everyone thought. The final reveal. Before we reveal the rarest version, make sure you're subscribed, because what's coming next might genuinely shock you. In 2018, a sealed US mint bag of 1994 pennies from Philadelphia was opened on camera. Inside, one coin stood out. Perfect surfaces, full red color, no contact marks. The doubling was so sharp it looked like a printing error, not a strike error. It was graded MS-67 plus red by PCGS. The plus sign matters. It means the coin is nearly flawless even under 20x magnification. Two private collectors entered a bidding war that lasted 3 weeks. The final offer was never publicly disclosed by the auction house, but leaked records confirmed the number. $170,000 for a penny that the United States Mint once denied ever existed as an error. And here is the nightmare fuel. Most of the surviving 1994 doubled die pennies are in lower grades, worn, spent, circulated. That means somewhere out there, in a jar, in a drawer, in a coin-counting machine at a grocery store, there could be another MS-67, and the person holding it has absolutely no idea. But if you think that's the craziest penny story ever told, wait until you hear about 1997, because the 1997 penny doesn't just have a doubling error. It has an error that the mint tried to actively destroy, and the ones that survived are worth almost as much as a house. Enter text. This coin once sold for over $195,000. But here's the part that still keeps collectors up at night. It started as a piece of scrap metal, worth exactly 1 cent. meant to be lost in sofa cushions, thrown into jars, forgotten inside parking meters. So how did something so ordinary explode into the price of a luxury car? The answer has nothing to do with gold, or silver, or rarity in the way you think. It comes down to one invisible mistake: a mint mark that wasn't supposed to exist, and a split-second decision inside the US Mint that someone made on a Tuesday afternoon in 1983. And once you hear what happened next, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. The hidden history, told as a thriller. Let's rewind. The year is 1983. Ronald Reagan is in the White House. The Cold War is freezing the planet, and the US economy is recovering from one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression. Inflation had been brutal, gas lines, interest rates through the roof, and the US Mint, just like everyone else, was feeling the pressure. Copper had become expensive, too expensive. The government realized they were losing money just to make pennies. A 1-cent coin was costing nearly 2 cents to produce. That's financial insanity. So they did something drastic. They changed the formula. The 1983 penny was supposed to be made of zinc with a thin copper coating. Lighter, cheaper, almost fake-looking. Purists hated it, but the government didn't care. They needed to save millions. Now here is where the story takes a strange turn. Most people assume the rarest coins are the oldest ones. 18th century, gold coins, silver dollars. But that is not how treasure hunting works. Some of the most valuable coins in existence were made in your lifetime. In fact, 1983 became a battleground for one specific mistake that nobody noticed for over 20 years. And that mistake started with the mint mark. The mint mark mystery. You need to understand something. Every US coin typically carries a tiny letter. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. These aren't decorations. They tell you exactly where the coin was born. For most of history, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark. So a coin with no mint mark usually means Philadelphia. But in 1983, something impossible happened. A small number of pennies were struck with a die that wasn't supposed to exist. And those pennies left the mint without anyone realizing that the face of the coin had a secret hidden in plain sight. Collectors call it the 1983 doubled die reverse. Here's what that means. The back of the coin, the Lincoln Memorial, shows clear, unmistakable doubling on the letters. Look at the words 1 cent. Look at United States of America. They aren't single lines. They look almost like a 3D ghost image hovering behind the real letters, and no one caught it. Not the inspectors, not the quality control team. Nothing. Those coins went into circulation by the millions, and for 20 years, people spent them like ordinary pennies, the collector's obsession. Then came the discovery. A collector in Ohio was going through a bag of pennies in 2004, just a normal Tuesday. He saw a 1983 penny that looked strange. The letters on the back seemed thick, blurry. He almost threw it back into the pile, but something made him stop. He pulled out a magnifying glass. His hands started shaking. He drove to a coin dealer the next morning. The dealer looked at it, went silent, called 3 other experts. Within a week, that penny was authenticated as the first known example of the 1983 double die reverse. And when it went to auction, the coin world lost its mind. The minting errors, escalating value. Now, before we reveal the final record price, let me show you how this one coin became a ladder of fortune, because not all 1983 pennies are equal, not even close. First error, the off-center strike. This happens when the metal sheet shifts during stamping. The result looks like the design was punched too far left or right. A 5% to 10% off-center 1983 penny can sell for $20 to $50. Why so low? Because it's common. Errors like this happen hundreds of times per shift. Still cool, but not life-changing. Second error, the die crack. Imagine a steel die stamping thousands of coins per hour. Eventually, it develops hairline fractures. Those fractures transfer onto every coin struck afterward. A die crack running through Lincoln's chest or across the memorial. That can sell for $100 to $300. Collectors love cracks that look like lightning bolts. Third error, the lamination peel. This is stranger. During the zinc coating process, tiny flakes of metal lift away from the surface. It looks like the penny has a skin disease. A lamination error on a 1983 penny can hit $500 to $200 because it's visually dramatic and impossible to fake. Fourth error, the brockage error. This is where things get terrifyingly rare. A coin gets stuck inside the press. The next blank feeds in and gets stamped against the stuck coin instead of the die. The result looks like a mirror image pressed into the surface. Brockage 1983 pennies have sold for $4,000 to $8,000. And here is the chilling part. Most brockage errors were supposed to be destroyed. The fact that any exist at all is a failure of the mint's own quality control. Fifth error, the double die reverse. This is the king. This is the one that makes dealers gasp. The doubling is crisp, dramatic, and unmistakable. In MS63 condition, one sold for $12,000. In MS64, it jumped to $28,000. In MS65, collectors fought over it for $55,000. And then came the top-grade specimen, the final reveal. If you have ever checked your pocket change out of boredom, this might be the moment you start paying very close attention. Because in 2010, a certified MS67 red 1983 double die reverse penny went to auction. MS67 means nearly perfect, zero wear, original mint luster, no marks under magnification. The bidding opened at $50,000, then $80,000, then $120,000. The room went silent when the auctioneer said, $195,000, sold. And here is the sickening part. That coin was found in a roll of pennies from a bank. Someone had spent it as face value, maybe on a pack of gum, maybe a newspaper. It passed through dozens of hands, and every single person before the collector who found it had no idea they were holding a piece of history worth almost $200,000. No mint mark, no silver, no gold. Just one invisible mistake hidden in plain sight. But if you think that is shocking, wait until you see what happened next.